YouTube. Alright, some of y'all may know I went to the farmer's market a few hours ago. Well, let me see. 2 hours ago, I guess I could say. And just want to show y'all. Here is the candied yams. It got some cinnamon with some country crock. It would have been butter, but I don't have no butter. So that's ready to go in the oven. And then here's the turkey wings in a roasted pan. And that's ready to go in the oven. And here is my ham hock. Nice and steamed. You can't really see it. You see a lot of steam. That's for the collard greens. The ham hock's been cooking in the water. And here's the collard greens being washed in the sink. So I got one more wash. So I'm gonna put some distilled vinegar when I wash it. You know, get all the bad dirt or whatever. And then I'll put these in the pot and let it cook. All right, let me go ahead and put the phone down. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, oops. Alright, y'all, I'm back. Alright, I'll put the collard greens in the sink one last time before I put them in the pot. I may have a lot of collard greens. I may have to put some in a bag and freeze them, but I'll see how much could fit in this big pot. I know it's going to cook down to nothing. But yeah, I have bought 2 pieces of ham hock. I only put 1 piece in there. Because like I said, I just wanted to get it for the flavor, the ham hock. It was nice and a good little piece too. So that's boiling in the water. I had put some black pepper, garlic powder, and the ham hock. I'm going to give these collard greens a nice seasonings to it. Alright, let me put this in water one more time. I've been washing it up. Look at this. I've been washing it up. Let me see. And let it soak in the water. Wash it. This is like the 3rd wash, I think. See, I wash it until the water is clear. You know, I pick the collard greens, take them off those things, you know, get a good wash. See, I washed it in some hot water. You put some hot water in here. I'm going to put some hot water in there. It kind of helps tender the collard greens, you know. You wash them. See, I don't buy that pre-bagged collard greens that's already in the bag. I don't do that because, number one, that little bag of, that little bitty bag of collard greens is going to cook down to nothing. So, this is one batch. Okay, put this, okay. Put the little distilled vinegar. that's just to give it a good wash. So let me let this soak in here a little bit. Okay. Put some water in there. Let it fill up. Just keep it in and just move it around. Wash, wash. Yep. This is a lot of collard greens, boy. It took up the whole sink. But we'll see how much. This will probably be about a half a pot. This big old pot on the stove with the ham hocks in it already. Look. See, that's how big that pot is. So I'm gonna let me let this sit in this water. All right, y'all. Let me let this sit in the water for about a couple minutes. Yep, let it sit in the water. Let it break down any type of, I had washed it like 3 times. And, well, actually, this will be the 4th time I washed it, not 3. I washed it 4 times, so I'm let it sit in the water. Filled it up with water. And that way, as you're washing it, any dirt or any kind of bugs in it. I ain't see no bugs in it, so I picked the collard greens right off the limb, one by one. Look at it, and it was a pretty good batch. Then you wash it, cut it up, wash it 3 times, 4 times. I put that little bit of vinegar in it, and then I'm gonna wash it one more time. But right now I'm gonna let it sit in the water. Whatever dirt that's in it, if it's any dirt, sand in it, it's gonna all come down at the bottom of the it'll all come down at the bottom of the sink. So that's how you know when it's clean. When you wash collard greens, and when the water's clear, and you just put some distilled vinegar in it, kind of wash it, wash it one more time, and then put it in the pot. See, you could tell when people make collard greens, if people don't wash their collard greens and you just throw it in the pot, and you see stuff floating on the top of it and things like that, or it don't taste good. Nope. I do not just make anything. Who's on here? Who's looking at my chat? And let's let that. So that's how it is. And then let me tell you about the sweet potatoes. So I went to the farmer's market. I bought me some fresh ground cinnamon. I put cinnamon in there, and then I put I had Country Crock, but it's supposed to taste like butter, I guess. Put some of that pieces of butter or Country Crock in it, and then I put a splash of pineapple. I put a splash of pineapple in the sweet potato. I almost forgot. I could also put some oranges in there. You put like a little squeeze of orange. It gets that little citrus, orangey taste, but it's gonna be delicious. I don't do candied yams like that. I don't do marshmallow and put sugar and brown sugar. That's a bit too sweet. I don't do that. I'll put just enough of the cinnamon. It's gonna roast in the pan, and that's gonna be delicious. And I almost forgot I had bought me some sweet corn too. Let me see what I'm gonna do. Corn. Nah, I ain't gonna do corn. I'll eat that corn for another day. Almost forgot about the corn. That would have made a good. I'm gonna do something with that sweet corn. I think I'm gonna I may just roast me a corn. I may roast one piece of corn. Put some paprika on there or something, and I ain't got no aluminum foil. No, I could put it in the oven. I'm gonna roast that corn. So that way, I ain't gonna roast all of them. I may do just one. Let me see. Corn, sweet potato, collards. That's pretty good. Hey, Sharky. Did you see my prep meals? All right, let me go back and put the collard greens in the pot now. I already got the sweet potatoes. Let me show you. Let me go in the kitchen. Show you my prep. Okay, let me show you. Turn the camera around. See, this is the sweet tomatoes with butter, with the ground sugar, with a splash of pineapple. I'll put that in the oven. Here is the roasted turkey wings. That's with mushrooms. And this is the smoked ham hock that's steaming in this water. And then I got the collard greens. See, it's nice and clean. I'm about to put this down for a minute so I could put this in the pot. So let me put this down. Let me put the collard greens on the stove now. All right, be back in a minute. Alright, I'm back. Look at that. I put all that collard greens in that pot. Look at that, y'all. Look at that. All that collard greens just put in that pot. Alright, I'm back. You see all that collard greens? I put all of that collard greens in that pot too. But trust me, it's gonna cook down to probably about half of that pot. So the meal's cooking, y'all. It is, what time is it? What time is it? Because I'm trying to see if I can finish cooking. Well, the collard greens is the most, it's gonna take the most to cook. Take all these stems. What I'm gonna do with all these? I'm gonna throw this in the backyard. That's what I'm gonna do. Hold on, y'all. Look at all these stems. You know, this will make a good compost rather than just throw it out in the trash. Let me walk outside to the backyard. Show y'all my surroundings. Oh, I know why I'm going to the front door. I can't find the damn key to go to the back door, so we're gonna take a walk around to the backyard. All right, this is the front yard. It needs to be. Ooh, these leaves need to hurry up and come on down so I could begin to break them. So we walk into the backyard. That's the neighbor's house. I need to get this fixed. See, when that tree fell on my house, it destroyed part of the siding. But I'm gonna get that fixed once I get this house painted. All right, I'm in the backyard. Oops. See, I ain't got no fence. I ain't got no deck. Nothing. Okay. And let me show you. Wait, where's my dang? I know those are not my dang buckets. Plant things all the way over there. I'm not trying to go into their woods. Hey, well, my compost bin looks crazy. I haven't been back here. Okay, this is the backyard. This leads into some woods. And sometimes, well, not sometimes, all of the time, deers will be coming from back here. And one time, it was about a herd of deers. Now, what my dang buckets doing all the way over there? And how the hell did they get over there in this back? Make sure I don't walk into those snakes. Look at this. How my stuff got all the way back here. I don't feel like going back here. I ain't gonna go it. Okay, I'm gonna throw this right in the woods too. Let me throw some into the woods. See, that way if the deers come, they could eat. They have something to eat. I'm gonna throw this out. Hold on, y'all. Let me throw this. Okay, you probably say, why the hell is she throwing out stuff in the backyard like that? But see, I live, okay, this is the other part. This is the back of the house. Look at my dang compost bin, all bent up. Dang. And I ain't had compost nothing. I'm supposed to have a compost bin. Look at this grill. They gave me a new grill. I gotta be a brand new grill that's in the garage. I haven't even used it yet. Okay, see what's in this. This will make a good. See, the compost bin was over here. This bin was under here. So this has some compost. Well, I guess it's supposed to be compost. It's nice and windy out here. It may look like it's gonna rain, but it didn't say no rain in the forecast. Alright, I'm back. Okay, so y'all took a tour of the backyard. You know, it don't look like much. I don't have a deck or nothing of that sort. Maybe in the future. Maybe in the future I built something back here. Built like a deck or closed in. What busted up your bin? That thing when they had that big storm. That was that big storm that came through here. Busted up my little compost bin. And then I start seeing certain flower baskets, not flower baskets, but like empty baskets all up in the woods. See, look. See, that leads out to the woods. You know what? Don't say that. Please don't say no beer. But you know, I have deers. Deers, they be coming back here. Herds of deers. Now, that's clearly was when it was raining and stuff. I hope it ain't no beer, because I haven't seen any bears. I've seen herds of deer, a bunch of them. One time I had about 6-7 deers in my backyard. Trust me, they'll be coming. See, this is the time of season they be coming out, coming from, I guess they coming from Stone Mountain, you know. They be coming down from Stone Mountain and Yellow River Park. There's Yellow River Park that's up the street, and there'll be like herds of deer. One time I saw wild turkey on the neighbor's porch. It was like a wild turkey. I said, I know that's not a wild turkey. It sure was. There'd be a whole bunch of little critters and animals be coming from all over. But you know what? They lived here before we did, that's for sure. So it's kind of like we taking over their territory. All right, I'm back in the house. Ooh, that smells so, y'all can just smell that food. Whew, it smells so good. Good, 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 good. I don't know how it smells in here. That little smoked ham hock. Let that collard greens marinate into a nice, tender meal. Let me see. Let me show y'all the pot. Show y'all the pot one more time. See, look. Okay, let me close the pot now. Let it stuff cook. Yep, that's the meal, y'all. Now I'm gonna wait for it to cook, and I wish I knew how to open this stupid thing to replace the dang battery. Uh-oh. Oh, Jesus. How am I supposed to place the battery? Thermostat need the battery be replaced, and I don't know how to take the thing apart to put a battery in that dumb thing. Whew. Okay, finished cooking. Not finished cooking. Now I'm cooking the meal. I'll do now, let it cook. I think it should be, let me see, how long collard greens takes to cook? Anybody know how long collard greens usually take to cook? Probably about 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours. Something like that. I know I had the Hancock cooking in the water while I was cleaning the collard greens and cutting them up and washing them. So by then, the turkey wings, which is in that mini roasting pan, and the yams, yeah, that should be about 2 hours. It ain't gonna take too long to cook. 2.5 hours. Okay, Sharky, thanks. You know, you really never really notice how long things cook. You just let it cook. Then, you know, once it cooks down and it's dark green, pretty much it's finished. Because, see, I don't put a lot of stems in my collard greens. Some people put, you know, some people cook with the stems. But when you cook with the stems, like if you just cut up with the stems in it, it makes it hard. And then it takes a little bit longer to cook the stems. And then I heard some people juice the stems. I ain't never seen that. Juice the stems of the collard greens. That don't, whew, I don't know how that's supposed to taste. And then, of course, people make collard greens differently. Some people, they braise it. There's many different ways to cook. No, I don't do the stems. You see what I did with the stems? I threw it out in the woods so the deers could eat it. And the squirrels or whoever else wants to eat food, I threw it out there so they could go ahead. But if it doesn't, it'll decompose into the woods. Oh. Man, you keep talking about these bears. If I see one bear in my backyard, Sharky, I'm blaming you. If I see one bear, I haven't never seen no bears around here. But I won't doubt it because, you know, someone said there was a bear that was roaming in subdivisions in the suburbs and it was in the top of the tree. But it's possible, you know, because in Georgia, they said they start seeing those black bears and they coming from the Smoky, they coming up from Tennessee, way up in those mountains, the Georgia mountains. And as people start cutting down forests and things like that, they actually creating problems by bears, black bears, traveling as far as 100 miles into Atlanta. So it's true. They said, do not leave. We have them here in Lexington County, South Carolina. Hey, Sharky, I know you were from Lexington County, South Carolina. I went to South Carolina, USC in Columbia, and I have family living across South Carolina in the Low Country. Yep. I drive through Lexington all the time when I go to South Carolina. When I'm driving, I always cut right through South Carolina. I cut right through Lexington. But you know, they built that brand new highways now to Charleston and stuff. How they so I don't really have to go through Lexington as much anymore. They built that new highway that connects from Charleston all the way to Columbia, all the way to Charlotte. They have all those connected now. At one point, I used to get off. Yep, I sure do. I sure do know it. I used to get off at exit when I used to go on 20 and Highway 6. You could catch it right off Highway. You could catch Highway 6 off of 20. And I used to take that Highway 6 all the way. And then I'll get into Lexington County right in the back way. I sure did. But now, I don't have to do that. I could go to Columbia, get off right in that back part of Columbia, and catch that highway that'll take you into Charleston. And then they built 26 that crosses over Highway 6. And that was a new interchange. So they built up. Let me tell you, South Carolina, don't sleep on South Carolina in terms of places to live. Yep, Highway 77, go to Charlotte, I-26. See, Columbia, Charleston, Charlotte, Greenville. See, let me tell you, those Republicans in those states of South Carolina, they bring the money to South Carolina. They build up so much, it's not overly built either. You know how Atlanta, they overbuild, and then it's only suited for certain kind of people. They don't build to affordability. You know, South Carolina, they be bringing big industries and big companies, and then people still live in those little small towns or in the outskirts of those places, and they get they get very good jobs, and they still live affordably, you know. Because see, those Republicans, let me tell you, in South Carolina, when they talk about building, you know, a lot of people be talking about Atlanta, but those small towns in the smallest city, in the smallest state, that's the place to move. That's the place to live. Not every black person live in Atlanta, you know, move to Atlanta. Because to me, there's no good jobs in Atlanta. See, Atlanta, if you're not in the technical field or medical or have that type of job, anything that's not related to those type of industry, everything else is bogus. You know, that's why you see so many people in Atlanta. They think they got good jobs, but if they're not in anything dealing with that, and I'm not talking about help desk, IT, customer service jobs either. I'm talking about, you know, making 90, 100 plus in computer software or something with logistics and technology, health care. You know, I ain't talking about nurse practitioner either, or, you know, that type of little jobs like that. I mean, it's nothing wrong with it, but they don't pay anything. They don't pay enough in Atlanta like that. And trying to find a place to live is getting very expensive. In town, like I told y'all, when we was going back home, and I was telling y'all how around Decatur, when they was building up where the farmers market, and how they was building up those 400,000 townhomes, and how a bunch of black folks used to live around there, and they just moving them out, and it cost $600,000 plus in some of these houses. And where I live, out here in Stone Mountain, that I showed y'all, you know, it's still affordable. You know, it's still affordable. You know, I bought my house for $119, almost 6-7 years. No, what was that? 2008. 8 years now, and I see white folks start swarming around here, and it's not bad. It's still a good area. It's still kept up, you know. It didn't go raggedy down to the ground, but the house values did hurt tremendously. This house I bought that I live here, y'all can see in the background. This house, when it was first built, 1996, this subdivision used to be premium. It used to be well-off black folks. Well-off black folks used to live over here. These houses, I'm going to show y'all another day when I go on the other side of the subdivision near the lake. And those houses were way bigger. It's bigger than the one I live in. I didn't want to live in that big house. I said, no, that's too much. You know, those houses was 200,000 plus. This house, when it was first built, it was 189, I think it was. It was 189. When they first built it, Water's Edge used to be like creme de la creme, you know. And then when the 2008 market hit, you know, a lot of these houses plummeted. It lost a lot of value, and, you know, people lost their jobs. The man who lived in this house was a craft executive. Then some white man bought it, and he bought it for $89,000, but the house needed a lot of work. I bought it. He put, you know, new siding or whatever, you know, and then it praised at 130, and he sold this to me for 119. And if it was really, 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 really bad, I probably wouldn't have got it, but it probably would have dropped. I probably could have, if this house had stayed on the market, if I didn't buy it and this house had stayed on the market past its time to buy, someone would have bought it for that price, kept it and flipped it. If I sold this house right now, I think I could get I think I could get 160. I really think. I think I could get 160. But if I put a lot of work in this house and just do a total remodel inside, let me show y'all parts of it. This is the sitting room. That's the dining room. I ain't gonna show y'all the kitchen. It needs to be straightened up. But, you know, this house, if it was to remodel, take some of these old looking fixtures and just do, you know, if I put like $10,000 worth of work and was to put this house up for sale on the market, I probably could get about 170. I really can. And then when the market really starts coming to full-fledged, because let me tell you, all those people who live 10 miles away from here, 400, 600,000 for houses, ain't no damn well in hell that everybody could afford that. Even white folks, I doubt they could really afford that. But even some of the in the cut on Memorial Drive, y'all hear me talk about Memorial Drive and how I don't want to go to Memorial Drive and, you know, ghetto and let me tell you, when I be driving, delivering food and things like that, I start seeing some white folks moving in these neighborhoods that I was like, what? But let me tell you, they know. All it takes is a few white folks to move into neighborhoods and buy up properties real cheap, and black folks just move up. You know, it's just like the reverse. Think about it. White folks used to live in the suburbs. Black folks lived in inner city. They didn't do anything in the inner city. They kept it down. They didn't put no no amenities in it. They called it. And then when developers wanted to come in town, they called it urban revitalization. That's what they called it. And that is not something that's been happening in this time frame. This has been going on in the 70s. Remember an old episode of Good Times? See, Good Times was in the 70s. Remember that time in the episode when Florida and the kids and Thelma was married at the time? They wanted to buy this house, and they said, well, we work full time. Everybody worked part time. And they said, well, I work part time and he works full time, and I work 20 hours a week and I work 40 hours a week. And they were trying to get a loan, and they told them about the FHA loan. Now, FHA loan's been given out for decades. And they said, well, all you gotta do is put 3.5% down and you could get an FHA loan. They were trying to tell them that somebody had to work full time, but they said all of them were buying the house together. So he wanted the banker. He said, well, if you make the rules, there's nothing in the rules that say that. So he said, okay, I will get y'all the loan and y'all could buy the house. They were so excited to buy the house that later on in the episode, the banker came back and said they had bad news. They said a developer wanted to buy the house, and they was going through urban rejuvenation, or whatever it is. Urban renovations, or revitalization. That's what it was. Urban revitalization. And they said that developer wanted to buy, and they said they wanted to bring more people in town from the suburbs, and they was building up supermarkets and stuff like that. Now, this episode of Good Times, that was in the 70s. That was in what was Good Times? Good Times was in 1970s. So they were and this was supposed to be in Chicago, and they was talking about that then. So this massive urbanization in Harlem and all across the country, that's not something that's just been going on. Then they was talking about that on the episode of Good Times that was in the 70s. So they were talking about it then. And then let's talk about the other show, Spike Lee movie, Do the Right Thing. That was another thing. Brooklyn. See, Spike Lee mentioned it in his video, in his movie, Do the Right Thing. That white guy was in the neighborhood, and he says, well, where are you coming from? He said he lived in Brooklyn. Hell no. And all those people was on the stoop. They were so in disbelief about it. And this was before Brooklyn was Brooklyn that people know it now. And that movie was what, 1987? Or look at Boys in the Hood, in the episode in Boys in the Hood with Lauren, with Grady and Lawrence Fishburne, the characters. They were standing at the corner and how they were talking about they were bringing in all these bad elements in the neighborhood, malt liquor and drugs in the neighborhood, and they was talking about how they wanted black folks to just kill themselves so they could come back in the neighborhood and want to move back to Compton. And that movie was 1988 or 89 or 90, one of those years. But see, how long ago was that? 20-something years ago. They've been talking about all those things back then. But let me tell you what the problem was. When the stock market crashed, and I'm not talking about the 2008 crash. I'm talking about the 1980 something crash. They was talking about it then. In the 70s, when they had that economic collapse, they were talking about it then. There was collapse. All of those things, how it looked. Yvette, you just coming on here? Oh, you ain't seen it. You got to go back and look at the meals are cooking now. I can't be opening up the pot. You have to let the food cook. I ain't finished. Okay, let me show Yvette real quickly. I already, no, because I want to take it out the oven. Go back and, no, I was showing the prep work. I had cut up the collard greens, let it, washed it 4 times, put it in the pot. Yeah, it's in the beginning of the video when I was showing the candied yams with the nice cinnamon that I bought from the farmer's market with some chunks of butter with a splash of pineapple juice. I'll put some pineapple on top of it later. Get a good little caramelization going on. But anyway, yeah. So when they were talking about urban revitalization back in those TV shows was in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. All those shows that I mentioned, they talked about it then. And now, what do we see going on? Now we seeing all the things they've been talking about materializes coming back. They've been talking about white folks moving back into inner city, doing all these development, and it's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen again. It's gonna continue to happen. Now I don't know what's gonna happen in regards to all these overinflated prices and stuff, but hey Adrian, y'all waiting for dinner to be cooked too, huh? I'm waiting too. I can smell it. Boy, if y'all can smell it. Ooh, I can smell the ham hock and the collard greens and the nice roasted turkey wings. And you know what? I forgot about the sweet corn. I bought that sweet corn. I forgot all about that sweet corn. I was thinking about either, I don't know, you think that's too much to eat? Sweet corn, collard greens, sweet potato, yams. Well, it's not really yams, but sweet potato with some cinnamon. And what else I got? Oh, turkey wings. Can't forget about that. You think that'd be too much? I had a crazy day yesterday. People in my camp almost had called cops on this one white lady. What happened, Adrian? Why they had to call? What did she do? They be acting a fool. Don't get those dumb people drunk, because they be, ooh, even if they not drunk, sometimes they just do stupid stuff. They think they could get away with it. That's one thing I can't stand. People think they could get away with it, and the cop, all they're going to do is say, well, we don't get into Uber business. That's not our issue, That's why I say, you know what? People start acting a fool, just tell them to get the hell out. And they be like, I'm not getting out the car. Well, bitch, you were getting out the car. You need a end stick. What's an end stick? You need some mace. Be like, hey, But people be a trip. See, that's why I don't stop doing people. I stop. Cause see, you ain't about to cut up and act a fool in my car, even if it's in your cab too. That's your cab too. You buy that cab or rent the cab. You're just the same, I get to this bar at 6 p.m. and I called twice. No one was outside about to leave. Then they called. It was a bartender call for a cab for this lady. When this happened, oh boy, her name was Mickey. See, I ain't got time to be waiting for people. I would have drove off. I ain't got time. She would have been left. Yummy, yummy. I'm back in the kitchen. Let me show you Yvette since you missed it. See, look. That's the collard greens. Make sure it don't burn. Look at this collard green. This thing just cooked on. It ain't cooked all the way down, but this gonna last me for at least the whole week. She gets in, drug off her butt. She says she drive, make a left one-way street, and I said to her, oh shoot, I would have threw her out the cab. You know why? Because see, the first thing she would have done was claim somebody raped her. Someone did something, you know? Nope. I would have been like, you know what? The bartender, they would have had to keep her in that bar. I asked for her ID so I know where she needs to go. She would. So after I get down the street, I said to her, I'm going back. See, don't put yourself in that situation. See, if I didn't get no address or the bartender couldn't give me, no, she would have been left. Because she ain't paid for no ride. See, a cab, they gotta pay after you drop them off. Unless the bar paid you already. But she would have been left at that bar. Sure would have. And besides, how she got so damn drunk anyway, to the point where I ain't owe that bitch no explanation why you take me back. Man, please. They should have called the cops. Well, first of all, let's back up a little bit. Number one. Okay, let me stop turning this out and let this collard green cook. Number one, how you make someone so drunk to the point where they can't even talk. Okay, that's coming along good, y'all. That bitch would have been left. Sure would have. She would have been left right there. See, I don't think men should pick up women from bars when they're drunk. I don't think they should let men pick up. I don't think men should. They should pick up women when they're drunk, because I don't think they should let men pick up women at night when they're drunk. I wouldn't worry about throwing up. I'll be more worried about eating my dessert. Banana bread from the farmer's market. It has no dairy or eggs in it, but it tastes good. Yeah, but you know what though? They only going to look at that after the fact. If that was to happen, and they wouldn't look at no film, they would put you in jail. Then you would have to get out, go to trial, then show the evidence that happened. You know? But that wouldn't stop that you've been arrested. You may not get a conviction, but the fact that they would have done it after the fact. They won't be looking at no film. They would have been looking at no film. They wouldn't have been looking at nothing. See, the cop's job is to enforce rules of arrest. The court job is to prove the offense didn't happen. So they wouldn't look at no film. The cops they don't look at no film. All they would have done was took the word, and then you have to prove your innocence after the fact. So I would have been like, don't she got a husband to pick her up? Or if she ain't got no husband, boyfriend. And matter of fact, where were the friends who went to this bar with her? She didn't just go to no bar by herself, you know? And let's say she did go by herself. How did she get there in the first place? Most of the time, people wouldn't go places like that by themselves. You know? They would have been with somebody. She would have had to be with somebody, some group of friends, or something. Adrian, next time, I don't care. If somebody call me from the bar and they're a single woman, black woman, not black woman, white woman, because see, black women, they would be loud and, you know, they don't get too drunk. First of all, black women don't even go out to bars by themselves like that. They always gonna have a whole bunch of people with them, friends, and people just go together. They don't go by themselves. And people won't let their friends, you know, they won't say, okay, Teresa, okay, see you later, girl. I'm gonna go home now. They ain't gonna leave me there. They gonna say, girl, you got a way to get home, or they'll take you home first. They won't leave you. Nobody won't leave nobody. People don't even walk out the club. People don't even walk out the club separate. If one person wanted to leave and everybody wanted to stay, and they say, girl, I'm leaving. Girl, who you walking out with? They will all walk out together first. Or they were like, okay, we're going to walk you to the car. But if you drunk, they ain't going to let you leave. They're not going to let you leave. Matter of fact, like I said, everybody leaves together. They do not let people go by themselves. Shoot. I know me and my friends, we were going out, we went in separate cars, and one of us said we leaving, everybody be walking together. All right, let's go walk to the car. Everybody walk each other to the car. Then if your last person was left, they say, okay, get in the car, let me drive you to your car. You know, you could be the next car over. They say, okay, get in the car, and then they drive you to the next car, and they make sure everybody leaves at the same time. Let me tell you, people don't do that. Call me when you get home. Even when I used to go in younger, you go to people's house, and you going home. I could be living up the street from my aunt's house or people's or relatives' house. Call me when you get to the house. That's the first thing. When I used to live in South Carolina, I used to live in the country. You used to go down the road and say, oh, hey, call me when you get to the house. You're not even going anywhere. It's like, you may be, all right, call me when you get to the house. That's like a staple statement. Call me when you get to the house. And, you know, I don't care what you was doing. You had to call when you got home. I don't care where I was. Every place I've lived, people always do that. I have friends who do that too. All right, girl, I'm leaving. I'm going home now. They live in Marietta. I'm living Stone Mountain. All right, call me when you get home. Shoot, white folks, I don't get it. All right, girl, you know, all right. See you later, Jean. Walk off, leave them there. Ain't that some stupid shit? I ain't never heard nobody just leave people anywhere. That's why white folks be kidnapped and they always get into these situations. I'm telling you, black folks don't play that. They don't play that. Then later on that night, last night, I picked up this mixed white woman who act black with her mixed little child, and she gets in BS about having wait while for a cab. We've been so busy, but not at me, just at, I don't get it. What you say? Just make at dispatch, people tell why she ain't call Uber? She said she was having a bad day, set her right. Hey, Kevin. See, but I'm telling you, though. But that's what I talk about, Adrian. People ain't gonna, you know, even though they have to wait for the cab. I'm trying to understand what you're saying, though. Well, why come she didn't just do Uber? That's what I want to know. Hey, Kevin Campbell, what you been up to? I don't know. It's, you know, sometimes you just have to plan stuff. You know, if cabs are busy and people ain't want to do Uber, and I do, unless I don't let people smoking in the cab, but how we was, I don't know what BS about, everything she asked for, if she can smoke. I said yes, roll down the window. Keep in mind she has a child in the car. Oh, you got migraines? I'm sorry to hear that, Kevin. What you got? You suffering from stress or what? What's going on? Why you got migraine? I thought that you're not supposed to smoke in cabs anyway. The little girl said to her mom, you can't smoke in a car with me in a car. See, the little girl had more sense. You know, sometimes I feel sorry for children because, see, some children got more sense than most adults. You know? People don't even care about their kids. Just smoke in the car like it, you know. Yeah, but even if you want to smoke, if you're a cab driver and you want to smoke in your own car, you ain't want to smoke in your car and then have people come in your car and you smell that stink smell, smoke. That's why if you're going to smoke in your car, smoke outside, out of your cab, and then go in your cab and smoke. That's crazy. I know, that's a shame that people smoke so much that you can't even, that you so immune that you can't even tell smoke. You can't smell the smoke in your own car. So I get to her place, drop her off, $15 trip. She asked me if I can if I can come back in a half hour, I'll take her back. I said, okay, I'll do that. Okay. Did you come back in a half hour to get her? I know one thing, if I was doing Uber again, I would just, I'll find out people, if they always take cabs all the time or Uber all the time, shoot, I'll make them my personal client. I'll sit there and give them my little Google number. Tell them, okay, call me when you need me. Schedule appointments.